welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Sammy. If you're not new here, welcome back, hello. I can't believe I'm actually filming this video. Today I am exactly 6 weeks postpartum, and today I'm going to be sharing with you, as you can tell by the title, my birth story and my labor and delivery story. But first off, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe for all kinds of baby, newborn, mommy content. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I am pretty active over on those two platforms, posting every day. So if you want more updates about baby and me and my family and all that, yeah, go over there. So without further ado, let's just get into my birth story. Alright, so if you have been keeping up with my pregnancy and videos and stuff, I did post a video about my last 2 weeks of pregnancy and how that all went down. My blood pressure ended up spiking super high the last 2 weeks, so my doctor was watching me for preeclampsia, and I only had the high blood pressure. I didn't really have any other symptoms. There was no protein in my urine or anything like that. But she still decided, so I was due April 5th, and I ended up being induced on April 10th. So I got to my due date, had my appointment, and then we set an induction date. Because my blood pressure was high, we ended up setting an induction. If my blood pressure wasn't high, we wouldn't have set an induction and just let baby come when she wanted to, but just because there was a couple different factors, I did end up getting induced, and it was great because it ended up all working out because my doctor, my midwife, who I had been seeing this entire time, was on call and was able to deliver Shiloh, my daughter. So my due date comes and goes, that whole next week comes and goes, and it is April 10th. It is my induction date. We called the hospital at 6 a.m. They told us to come in at 8:30. We were super excited and nervous and just all the emotions. And it ended up working out that I was induced so that Tyler could come up right with me and bring all the bags and everything, because if you were to go into labor on your own, you would have had to go up to triage by yourself before they actually admit you to the hospital. But since they were expecting us and we had an induction set, they were already expecting us, so they had a bed and a room for us. So it was cool. So we get up to the room, they're getting me hooked up, everything is good. We were just hanging out, we were super excited. I'll insert some pictures of us in the hospital room when we first got there, and little pictures we took throughout. I'll also insert pictures and stuff throughout this video, just of all the different things that went on in my birth story. So we get checked in, everything's good, the nurse is really sweet and she's getting me hooked up. I got my IV in and monitors all on and everything, and then my doctor came in and we started a medicine. I forgot what it's called. It's either cortisol or something with a C. I'm really bad at remembering names like that. But so we started some medicine that you put in your cheek, and it dissolves, and then it's supposed to get contractions going and get everything going. I didn't need a Foley bulb or a balloon or anything up in there because I was already 3.5 centimeters when we got to the hospital. So 3.5 centimeters, I got the cortisol in my cheek. Did that for 4 hours. Really, I literally felt nothing. We just watched the Food Network, got some lunch, literally just laid in the bed, honestly. So then my doctor was like, okay, let's maybe start Pitocin, let's get things going, kick it up a notch. So that's what we did. I got started on Pitocin at 2 milliliters, and then every half an hour they upped it to 4 and then to 6. So right before they started the Pitocin though, they did break my water, which, ladies, people who give birth, holy cannoli, is that not the most disgusting, weird feeling ever? They broke my water and my sac was super thick, so she was up there with that crochet hook, sawing back and forth for a good 2 minutes. And then all the water whoosh, and it feels like a water balloon squeezing out. But it's all super warm, and it feels like slime almost, and it's so gross. And it was all over the bed with there's a ton of puppy pads on the bed. They're Chuck's pads, but I've been calling them puppy pads. And it was just the most disgusting feeling. So that was right before they started Pitocin. They started Pitocin, so they're alright, things are going, my water's broken. And the Pitocin kicks up, it's fine, it's good, I'm just laboring, I'm on the ball, just kind of talking it out, yelling, kind of just moaning a little bit. And then the Pitocin like really ramped up. And I think it was when I was at like 6 to 8 milliliters of Pitocin. I think it was 8 when it started getting like disgustingly bad. And I was like, I couldn't do it. I was so, like, everything hurt. It felt like my butt was gonna, like, I felt like it was gonna poop. I felt like my butt was gonna rip open. I was like shaking. I couldn't talk through anything. I was screaming. It was really bad for a while. So I said to Tyler, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. This is horrible. This pain is terrible. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna poop. And the nurse that was in there was like, okay, well, let me check you. And because usually when you like feels like you have to poop, it's towards like the end of labor, like transition, like, okay, it's gonna be time to push soon. So the nurse checks me and I am at 4 centimeters. Meanwhile, I said when I got there, I was 3.5. So I went half a centimeter in like 6 hours, and I just stayed at a 4, and I was not progressing at all. My body was not handling this Pitocin at all. And I was screaming, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. What am I gonna do? So they brought in the doctor that was on call. My doctor was on call, was there, but she was on her like 3-hour break. So they sent in this other guy who I had never met, who was an OB and IC midwife, and just like their values are a little bit different. And I had never seen this guy. He doesn't know me. I don't know him. And he was like, oh, better get her the epidural because she's not going to be handling this. He even said that to Tyler. He was like, oh, she's probably going to need the epidural, buddy. And I was like, I really don't want an epidural. That wasn't part of my birth plan. I didn't want that. Just for personal reasons. Like, you know, no shade to anyone who gets one. Like, do what you gotta do to get a human out of your body. But I just personally didn't want one. So I was like kind of sad about it. And then I was like, well, I need something, like I can't do this any longer. So they ended up giving me some medicine. Again, I don't remember what the name of it is. Because I was only at a 4, so it was safe to do. It was like, it was a narcotic, but it was like a small amount in the IV. Just something to like take the edge off. So I got that, and as soon as I got that, like this like wave like came over me, and it felt like I kept saying that everything felt big and everything felt like puffy, and I kept saying that I kept seeing Snorlax, like the Pokemon. So, you know, good drugs, I guess. Everything was fluffy, and like my eyes were closed, and I was like laying in the bed on my side, and I like, you could still feel everything that was happening to you, but it just kind of made it like a little more like slowed down in your brain almost. And my body went, so I got that medicine, and then I went from a 4 to a 10 centimeters dilated in 35 minutes. So that shit works. If you need something during labor, get it, because it's just gonna make your experience better if that's what you want, and that's your choice. And don't let anyone give you shit about what you did during your labor, what you did during your birth, because it's your birth, it's your story, it's nobody else's, no one else's body. You make the decisions, do what's best for you, do what's best for your family. You're literally pushing a child out of your body. Like, you're birthing a child. Do it how you want, what's gonna be best for you. Yeah. So that being said, so I got this medicine, it felt great, went from a 4 to a, not great, felt better, went from a 4 to a 10, and then I was like, okay, they brought that weird doctor comes back in, the guy I don't know, and like all these nurses come running in, and they're like, okay, it's time to push. I was like, who's this guy? Like, my midwife's supposed to be here, you know, that's why we set the induction, so that she could be here, but she was still like on her break. So all of a sudden all these people come in, and I'm like, I remember this one nurse coming in, and she like I think she put my hair up at this point, and she moved one of our birth affirmations on a light above me, and she was like, I guess I was like saying I couldn't do it, or I was scared, or like my doctor wasn't there, and like she came over and she was like whispering in my ear, and she's like, you're gonna do it, you're gonna be okay, you know. I don't even remember what she said exactly, but I remember her talking to me and like making me feel better that it was happening, things were happening, because I was like, oh my god, that was fast, like, sorry if there's any angle changes, I had to flush a bug down the toilet. Yeah, the nurse comes in, everyone's in there, and then I like sort of start pushing, but not really. I really had to pee, and I remember saying I have to pee, but they're like, I was hooked up to a bunch of stuff. I think I actually had like a monitor like up inside my, like right up in my uterus to like monitor the baby, because the monitor on the outside kept like slipping and falling off, so they put one inside, and that was like right when I got that medicine they did that. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So I was like laying on the bed, they're like, well, if you have to go pee, we have to take this thing out and then put it back in, and I was like, let me just pee right here. So they got me like a bedpan, and which was such an uncomfortable, gross experience as well. But I was just like sitting in that, peed, and I was like, I remember being so happy they peed, and it was like nothing at all, but it was just like the pressure down there. And then my doctor came back in, and Tyler got gloves on, and we were like getting ready to push. I was at 10 centimeters. I felt all this pressure. I kept saying my butthole was gonna rip open, and truly though, it does feel like your butthole is ripping open. It doesn't even feel like your cooter is doing anything. It's your butthole. So my doctor comes in, we get ready, we start pushing, and Pitocin contractions were horrible. Probably one of the worst experiences I've been through. I've always had a very high pain tolerance, and I know I handled it really well, but y'all, that shit is hard. That shit is hard. And that was probably like one of the most painful things I've been through. So pushing, not really that painful. Like, it wasn't I wasn't comfortable, and it wasn't the best feeling in the world, but pushing actually felt like you were doing something as opposed to just like being in pain. Like, yes, obviously contractions are doing something. It's making your uterus contract, open up, to let the baby out. But I was at a 4 for so long and just laboring for literally no progress. So it just felt like you're not doing anything. The pain is not with a purpose. You know, obviously it is because you're birthing your baby and you're laboring for your baby, but it didn't feel like it had purpose. And then when you are pushing, and I didn't get an epidural, so I could feel the baby literally like moving down into my pelvis and moving down through the birth canal. It's freaky, but it does feel like you're doing something. You could feel it. And then they actually brought in a mirror so I could see what was going on. But that was also, at first I didn't want to look at first, which is like so weird. But I felt like if I was gonna I don't even remember like what my logic was, but I think I was like, when you're giving birth, you are truly like not in your right mind. It is like the craziest drug in the world. You just go somewhere else. And so when you're pushing, you're just like, I don't know, I didn't want to like look through the mirror at first, because I was like discouraged that something was going to like, I don't know, I was gonna see it and get excited, and then it's just gonna take longer. But my battery's dying, I need to change it. Alright y'all, sorry for any angle changes. I did have to go get a new camera battery. So where were we? We were at when pushing started, or like during pushing. So they got the mirror, I was pushing. I ended up pushing for 3.5 hours. And my whole labor itself was 17 hours, but pushing for 3.5. And finally, at one point, it was like the last hour of pushing, and my doctor was like, okay, Sammy, like, I think we should think about an episiotomy. You've been pushing for a while. And that word episiotomy, like, scares me. And I was like, I just didn't, like, you know, I always just assume you're gonna get cut, like, the whole way. So I was, like, all loopy and, like, in labor land. And I was like, are you gonna cut me from my vagina to my butthole? I was like, not having it. And she's like, no, I don't want to stitch that up. Like, literally what she said. I love my midwife, she's amazing. Didn't want that. So I said, no, let's wait. And she's like, okay, that's cool. Like, you know, let's do what you want. And so I was laboring maybe for another like 30 minutes pushing. And I was like, I think I need it. And she's like, okay, so let's do it. So she ended up cutting me just a little bit, just to make a little bit more room. And it was actually funny because we were getting really towards the end, and Tyler, part of our birth plan was for Tyler to catch her while she's coming out and kind of like pull her up onto me, which did end up happening, which amazing. Our birth experience was so positive and so good. So she ended up snipping me, and she told Tyler, like, you might want to look away for this, and he was like, all right. But he was great. He was so hands-on during the birth and was talking to me and coaching me and just like being there for me and giving me water and kissing me, and he's the most amazing supportive partner there is. I'm so lucky to have him in my life. But that's a whole other tangent. So she gives me the old snip snip, and the next push, Shiloh came out at 2:57 a.m. on April 11th, 2021. Shiloh Jean was born, my little beautiful baby girl. She is amazing. We are so lucky to have her. She was born at 8 pounds and 8 ounces, 22 inches long, a big girl. She is amazing and beautiful, and she has grown so much in these 6 weeks, and it's crazy. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. So she was born at 2:57 a.m. and it was crazy. I'll insert some photos of her birth, and like we couldn't actually film the birth, which kind of stinks because of our hospital policy, but we did get some pictures, and I got to see my placenta, and it was amazing. It was so cool. So right after the birth, I was like super adrenaline high. I like could not focus on anything except for the fact I was like freaking out, like, oh my god, she's here, I just did that, holy shit, like, oh my gosh, she's here, she's on my, like, oh my god. I was so like everywhere that I didn't even see Tyler cut the umbilical cord because I was just so all over the place and just like staring at her and staring at everything that was going on. There were so many people in there. I ended up losing actually a lot of blood because a blood vessel popped in my cervix, so there was just like people in there, blood all over. You know, it is what it is. Birth is messy. So I'm laying there, and I had all the nurses like laughing and rip roaring because I kept saying like, oh my gosh, it wasn't so bad, and then they were sewing me. I'm like, oh my butthole, or like just like saying stupid comments. I was like so over the moon happy and had so much adrenaline going. Oh my god, it was insane. It was an insane feeling. It was a crazy experience and truly like life-changing, and like, I don't know, it was amazing. So after that, I get all stitched up. I ended up getting a good amount of stitches, internal and external. I think I had like a 2nd-degree tear. They didn't actually tell me, but it wasn't too bad because I could get up and walk and move and stuff for the most part. Well, the first time I actually got up to walk after having Shiloh, it was like maybe an hour, 2 hours after. I already got cleaned up. I got a sandwich. That was the best sandwich I'd ever eaten in my life. It was just turkey and like gross government American cheese, but it was the best sandwich I've ever had in my life. But so I got up with the nurse's help and everything, and I instantly felt like I was gonna pass out, and they like did this little thing where they like crack this little thing that smells like alcohol, and they rub it under your nose, and it's like and like instantly like wake up because it's such a strong smell, like almost burns the inside of your nose. So I was like doing that, and then I was like kind of like woozy and like sitting on the toilet trying to pee. And I ended up peeing, which was great, but I almost passed out, so they had me go to sleep. They told me to sleep, and they put a bunch of like IV liquids in me to get me more hydrated and like more up. And then so they took Shiloh to the nursery, let her sleep because she was just through birth, so she was tired. And let us sleep for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then we ended up getting transferred to our postpartum room, and we had a decent experience at the hospital. There was a couple of really good nurses, and there was a few not so good nurses, but I don't really want to focus on that negative in this video. But Shiloh did end up having jaundice, so we were at the hospital for like 4.5 days, which kind of sucks because you can't leave the room at all. Like, you're literally just in your room because of COVID. You can't walk down the hall, you can't go outside to get fresh air or to go to like the vending machine or anything. Like, you're literally just stuck in your room, and you have to call them for water, you have to call them for everything. So it just felt horrible, and like we didn't bring enough clothes because we only thought we were gonna be there for like a day or two. And I was just uncomfortable and wanted to be in my own bed. Like, hospital beds are horrible. So we just wanted to be home. But overall, our hospital experience was pretty decent, and my birth experience was so positive, and I'm so grateful for that, truly, because I know so many women and people who give birth have had bad birth experiences or traumatic birth experiences, and I'm just so grateful that that wasn't me. I had a very positive birth experience, and like I said, I'm very grateful and don't take that for granted ever. I can't believe Shiloh Jean is here. She is Earthside. She is absolutely amazing. Being her mother has changed my whole life. I feel fulfilled. I feel like I'm doing what I've always dreamed of and just what I've always been destined to do, and I've always wanted to be a mother for as long as I've been alive. I've just always wanted to be a mother, and I'm so grateful that I finally am. My dream has come true. I'm so thankful for all of our blessings in our life. Yeah, so that is the birth story of Shiloh Jean. She is, like I said, she's an angel. She's my angel. She's our rainbow, and I love her so much. I'll insert some clips of her after I end the video so you guys can see her, because she's sleeping right now, or else I would film her right now, but she's sleeping, so that's why this video is actually getting filmed. Finally, I feel good. This is the second day I've done makeup in a row, so that's really cool. So yeah, that was my birth story of Shiloh Jean. So if you liked it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you're not already. Stay tuned for lots of baby, mommy, life, family content over here. Again, make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I am very active over on TikTok and Instagram. Also, I don't know, share this video with your friends. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I love you guys. Bye!